Alright. I thought YouTube had a live version of itself, but um, I'm not seeing an option for that. Uh, at least on the smartphone. At least yet. I've been trying a good portion of the day to get Facebook Live to work with me. To get a series of shows done up that I'd like to have called BarnCaturday 9 Lives. Somewhat of a play on Saturday Night Live. BarnCaturday 9 Lives. Yesterday it just cut off and shut out. Just stopped. As if some other force decided, nope, you don't get to broadcast. Off. So, I don't know. I attributed that to being just in East County, driving along, trying to do a Facebook Live broadcast while I was out there, and the Wi-Fi signal goes up and down, so there was that explanation. This time around, though, I'm not too pleased. I'm not too happy, because here I am in a stationary area. I'm right near my own Wi-Fi hotspot, okay? I'm a Comcast Infinity customer, and yet somehow my Wi-Fi does not seem to reach beyond the 50 or so feet away I am from it now. What gives? So, I have to admit that yes, okay, I am getting a little irritated by this. If this is someone, a deliberate force playing around with me and deciding that they're just going to get their merries and giggles by overriding my signal somehow, jamming me out, hacking my page, or whatever it is they're doing to cut me off, it's working. I'm irritated. So, really though, the question is, what are you doing with your life? Look at that time going by. If this is somebody just taking time out of their life to sit there and do nothing but mess with other people's lives, that's not success, my friend. That is not success. So, what the hey? What do you say we try to pick this up where we left off, and I can just slap this link onto one of the failed videos that I tried doing on Facebook Live. Books. We were talking about arts and hobbies on this, and books. The authors that come to mind, we've got a lot of great authors in the local area up here in Bellingham, Washington, and I'm going to go ahead and name drop those here. E.A. Shannon. He's got himself a series of books, some of them really connecting me to my own Scottish-Irish roots, and even has an interesting map drawn up of a world, I think of his own making, I'm not sure. I also got my Deadpool sticker from him, the one I put on my Mercury Villager minivan. Mickey Nielsen. We've covered Mickey Nielsen in the previous videos. I think we got as far as to talk about Mickey Nielsen before it cut off, before whoever, whatever, decided to step in and go, nope, that's enough talking from you, and shut me down. King of Casinos, Andy Martello. Up and at him. He is doing good. He is actually a game show host of a new version of The Price is Right. So, kudos to him. I've had the chance to talk with some interesting people who have done, who have been on the show while I was on Blog Talk Radio. People such as D.A. Roberts, the author of the Ragnarok series of books that concerns the zombie apocalypse and the survival of it. And is otherwise an interesting person besides, who indulges in the hobby of geocaching. And I finally found out that for sure what geocaching was, so it's interesting. But I want to hear what you guys have been reading. Let me know in comments, either on YouTube or on Facebook. Design. Design is a big part of art, really. It's the whole layout of it. It's the foundation of it, we might say. And the name that pops out to me the most is Jerry Stecca. Jerry Stecca is an older brother of a friend of mine, Elena Stecca. Jerry is down in Florida, and he's a painter, an artist, but also he does sculptures of clothespins, made out of clothespins, all wired together. Just really cool stuff. He travels, he gets to travel around the country and, upon request, builds these sculptures out of clothespins, sometimes covering trees, highlighting the contours, and adding a weird bit of art onto nature like that, with clothespins and wires, just with nothing but clothespins and wires, achieving great results. He's appeared on home and garden type television shows as well, and I will slap a link to his YouTube channel here, so in comments to this video, so you guys can get a chance to check out what Jerry's been up to. As far as the film scene in Bellingham, Washington, love it. Bleedingham has made a great accounting of itself up at Crypticon in Seattle. Basically a horror festival, a horror film festival of sorts. And Bleedingham and the crew there, Eddie Hayes, Michael Dyerland, Michelle Nesk, Gary Washington, Elena Stecca, and many others are representing all up in the field down there, probably even as we speak. So, good job down there, guys. Keep filming Washington. It's a great shoot location, even if Facebook Live doesn't think so. Bleedingham also does the Festival of the Macabre, a yearly event celebrating film festivals. Not film festivals, but horror, basically everything that's scary and macabre. And that's something that we of the Washington Abnormal Research Network, having a look at your... Oh, that was a message from my wife. Where was I? She just totally threw me off. Okay, I know, that's nice. I'm trying to film here. Festival of the Macabre. Basically, we got to represent our own version of the type of things that we encounter out there and out in the world of horror and things like that. Investigating all things parapsychological, cryptozoological, and extraterrestrial. That was all three last night, actually. So that was a great time there. Bellingham had something else of a film festival in which local independent filmmakers, actors, directors, producers, editors, stuff like that got together and created movie trailers. Maybe not even the movie themselves, maybe not ever the movie itself, but movie trailers. And it's called Trailer Wars. Now what they do is they get together and with these submitted trailers of theirs and submit them, and they are filmed. They are screened on an actual movie screen, big movie theater screen. Can you imagine that? Your face up there on the screen, larger than life. That is a feeling that is not equaled by many other things, I'll tell you that. I've been on Trailer Wars a few times. Me and my team of individuals, whoever they were at the time, did a pretty good acquitting of ourselves of Trailer Wars, I think. I got my vote. But for performing arts, well, we talked a little bit about the upcoming summer blockbusters, and I think that's all I need to say about that. What do you guys think about the upcoming summer blockbusters coming up? Let's just throw a few triggers in there for you. Dark Tower 1, The Gunslinger. Idris Elba, Matthew Matthew McConaughey and Idris Elba in The Gunslinger, The Dark Tower. Let me know what you guys think on that one. Performing arts, though, Bellingham would be remiss in not mentioning its very own Mount Baker Theater. It's also haunted. Worth the checkout on more than one level. Tin Can Odyssey, like I said, did some filming there. If you're curious about Tin Can Odyssey, look them up on YouTube. Just type it to your search bar, Tin Can Odyssey. Look for astronauts. Look for space. You will find us there. We also have a theater guild in town, the Bellingham Theater Guild, and improvisational things such as improv classes you can take in town, and the Upfront Theater itself run by Ryan Stiles. Yeah, us. We in Bellingham have Ryan Stiles. He's ours. You can't have him. And Gloomy Sunday Productions. Performing arts, film, a little bit of both. Brings you some of that deeper, darker, more robust, savory flavor of horror than you'll get out of your average independent local horror film maker product experience thing. Yeah, this isn't flying, this is falling with style. Bringing you up with photography, though, the one that sticks out to me the most right off the bat is Ryan Ottaway Martin, who runs ROM Photog. Good stuff. And Stephanie Treadway Snyder also has a photography biz going on. Also worth the check out. I'll give you the link to that one as well. You can check that out. But it's been a pleasure filming and photographing with the local greats. And for me, it's not so much an ego thing. I like watching myself. I do like hamming it up. I will admit that. But I'm not the one for the fortune, the fame, or the same person telling you to forfeit the game. Truth to tell, I'm a little bit lame. But I'm me. I'm me. How many people are themselves? Like the Fix said, are we ourselves? Poetry, well, like I said in the previous videos, you'll find poetry on the small plaques outside the Bellingham Public Library, and every now and then one will catch your eye, and you don't know why until you read it all the way through. Sometimes you'll find some meaning in there. Poetry, some people say, is the language of the soul. And sometimes, it communicates with you right there. Gets you right in the feels. One of my favorite poets is somebody that you don't know. Somebody who's no longer with us, at least biologically, physically, three-dimensionally. Mr. Tony Tyler. Yeah. Shoot, who missed that guy. You won't have any friends as close as that in this life. Not often. Cherish them for as long as you can. But what are your favorite poets? Let me know. Let's talk. As far as the visual arts go, I just missed seeing Shannon Devine at the comics place yesterday. I guess she was there from 10 a.m. to 11, and I really didn't get into town until after 3 p.m. I wear a lot of hats, but unfortunately sometimes, most of the time, all the time, every time sometimes, I can only wear them one at a time. It's a crime. But Shannon Devine has also been on the show before with A Series of Circumstances. We talked with her a little bit about that. It's an older show, but it gets you some of the beginning information that we have from her. Also, her friend Laura Beth Carter was on the show a little bit to talk about her writing projects and art projects as well. And they both have a friend named Stick Riffon. Basically, Michael Riffon, aka Stick, has a series of comic art he calls Table13.com, drawing off his experiences working at a restaurant and what people in a restaurant run into. If you've seen the movie Waiting and truly appreciated the struggle, you know the struggle, you know the fight, that's the one for you. It's really good. You ever just had a really crappy day on the job and you just wanted to cut loose and just blah, if you could just, do whatever in the middle of the job in a consequence-free environment, such as a cartoon world of the Table13.com comics, yeah, it's fun. Um, and as far as visual arts go, I know probably everybody could probably do this if they had the time, the diligence, the patience, the vision, and the creativity to do it. But there was an app called Slide Lab. And Slide Lab um, was something that a friend of mine named Melissa Connors did. And she put together a music video for the Washington Abnormal Research Network core group of investigators, and it is beautiful. It had Disturbed's cover of Simon and Garfunkel's Sound of Silence, Disturbed's version of that, set to pictures from the Washington Abnormal Research Network Facebook page. I thought that was pretty freaking dynamic. I liked it a lot. It just got you in the feels. And writing. If you guys have not caught up to these writers yet, they are worth the check out. Kira Cole-Tufay, the authoress of the Four Seasons series. You'll find her on Twitter as Meridian Wanderings. And if I forgot anybody here, plop up your link, or I will plop up your link. I can pop up your link, plop up your link, and plop it up for you in the comments section on one of these video expositions, so you guys can get caught all up in that. Carl Waterbury. Yeah, we might have had some disagreements in the past, but you know what? I'm going to go ahead and say Carl Waterbury, the author of the Teddy series of books, children's books. Just try to Google it. Just Google it. Carl Waterbury, Teddy. Now, Whatcom County, like I said, very artsy, also very literate, has the Whatcom Reads or WhatcomWrites.com.org type of thing, where local authors will write short stories and submit them to, this site and have a chance for their story and their name to get out there as part of an anthology book that is submitted just about yearly. I've won this thing 3 times in a row, and I probably could do so again. But I decided to back out because it's not all about me. I mean, I probably could have tried for 4 or 5 times in a row, but what would that prove? I'm not sure. It wouldn't impress me. I guess, I don't know. See, art goes 2 ways with me. I find it insanely easy, and at the same time I find that there is always going to be somebody that is better than you at a certain type of art, so why bother? That's where I get discouraged. So, that's art. And writing. Well, the arts in general. But somebody who's a real good author, and I don't mind her being better than me. I don't mind any of these authors being better than me. It's not a competition with me. Catherine Louise Herring, the authoress of The Reaper Chronicles, a collection of books that you're going to have to keep an eye out for. She's also gotten into photography and some pretty compelling pieces of work on her site and Twitter page. Now here's another Stecca for you. We've already talked about Elena Stecca and Jerry Stecca. Well, art just runs in the Stecca family, and I believe Stecca, which is another word for stick, I think it's more like a paintbrush or a writing pen than a stick than anything, because Carolina Stecca writes the books. Yes, she does. She's got a book called Life's Little Curveballs, which is very fun reading. It's about family, her faith, her family, and that type of thing, and the humor found all around and in between that type of thing. And has also started doing a biography based on the the words and oral history from her father. And the book is called And I Remember. Now, if we're hung up on the spelling of Carolina Stecca, Elena Stecca, or Jerry Stecca, of course, like I said, these will be linked. And Thomas Duder, the author of The Things. He's got a series of books out called The Generalist, and I believe it is worth the watch. Definitely worth the read. I mean, worth the read. How long is the video going to be here? You know, YouTube's giving me a lot more time than Facebook did, so what Facebook didn't want, YouTube can have. Let's head on to Hobbies. Now, this is kind of interesting. What Blog Talk Radio considered hobbies was really weird. Hobbies, of course, aviation, blogs and blog critics, fun, gardening, knitting, other games, paranormal. Paranormal as a hobby? Yeah, there'll be some talk of that one. Personal journals, podcasting, travel, and video games. Now think about these as I go over them. Think about what we do for hobbies. Think of why we have hobbies, why we do hobbies, that sort of thing. Basically, I've already opened up the swag bag and shown you the comic book collection that I got on Free Comic Book Day on previous videos on Facebook. But comic books is one of my hobbies, and collecting comic books. At least it used to be. It's gotten so expensive now, and you have to spend more and more and more just to keep up with the storylines, or the story that you're reading just won't make any sense. As much sense. The art is still very good, but if you miss enough issues for enough amount of time, you're going to wonder where your favorite artists went, because where'd they go? They're gone. Something happened. What? I don't know. Recap on the days. Oh, I did not launch into this one yet. I've recently had a tooth extraction. You know, let's not go through that experience again anytime soon. Yowza. But hobbies. Do you have any you want to talk of? Do you have any hobbies of your own? You gotta have hobbies. That's it. You gotta have hobbies unless you're trying to be dull, trying to bore yourself to tears. What do you do for fun? Travel. Gosh, I really didn't have much to say about travel. I haven't really been to that many places. Just, Oregon, Idaho, Montana, Germany, British Columbia, places like that. Germany when I was 16. The rest, other ages. Aviation. How do you guys feel about... I didn't really have anything to say about these airplanes except what is going on with these reports that we keep seeing about brutality on the airlines. I mean, you got people being yanked out of their seats, dragged down the hallway, and roughed up, noses bloodied, bruised up, clothes all hair disheveled. For what? Why? Why are they doing this? What's going on? But as far as aviation, the only other thing I could think of is drones. How do you guys feel about drones? What's going on with all this? It seems like drone technology is becoming more and more commonplace and accessible to the everyman. But about anybody can go to a store, spend like maybe 30, 40 bucks and get a drone. A remote controlled drone that will fly around, take pictures, take video of whatever that little drone can get to, have however far it can fly. Where's the privacy there? What's the legality on drones? Video games, gosh, that's a long-ass topic on its own. I've got a lot of clips on video games on this very BarnCat TV channel here. So what video games have you played lately? What really stands out to you? I've been kind of I've been into the World of Warcraft pretty heavily. And I think the only other game I play right now on Facebook is Mutants Genetic Gladiators. And unfortunately, I just cannot seem to tear myself away from the hells that is known as Urban Dead and Shartak. Blogs and blog critics. Seems like a two-sided coin, don't it? Blogs and blog critics. Well, I kind of used to think of Blog Talk Radio as a blog. It was a way to keep a audio blog. I guess you can't call it a vlog, but it's set up like a blog and also in the form of a radio show that it gave you a switchboard that the audience could actually live, engage you live as you discussed the topic of whatever your particular blog episode was about. So BTR was a blog. I have to admit, it was fun, and I did it for 6 years. No regrets. As far as blogs go, though, one person that really stood out to me right off the bat, and given the size of this memo book page, I really couldn't add that much in, but Allie Drennan. Allison Drennan and her blogs. But a lot of, it seems like blogs are something that a lot of people are getting into, and it's still very popular. It has not lost its fire. Small businesses are doing blogs. Authors and artists are doing blogs as a way to keep in touch with and engage their audience, interact with them, keep the interest up. Blog critics, I don't know. I guess I was just now a blog critic. Just now. I guess the one thing that I could say, I don't know. Yeah, well, I don't know. Blogs. Fun. Yeah, fun was a topic under hobbies. It seemed really vague. What do you do for fun? I already asked that. Myself, I do comic books and action figures and collectibles, electronics, and everything that just basically takes place under this roof of the Bat Shop, the new BarnCaturday studio. Gardening, that's her deal. My wife, the lovely Starcat, she is actually making of this place a paradise with all the plants growing up outside. And she's actually got a picture of a plant as her Facebook profile picture. But she's got the green thumb here. I'm really not into gardening. I don't even like mowing the lawn. But this is something that does kind of make gardening interesting, or at least piques my interest somewhat. But coming up next month, we have something called, oh no, that was today. Or that was yesterday. World Naked Gardening Day. Did any of you guys participate in that? That just cracks me up. But yeah, we've done a lot of gardening around here, and kind of like, here is kind of a gardening associated little tangent at least, but rain barrels, gathering your own water, why is that illegal? Is it illegal? And why? Doesn't make any sense. Water, I mean, it comes from the sky. It's obviously free, but have they found a way to charge for that? Knitting. I have even less to say about knitting. I don't knit, I don't darn, I don't twiddle strings in yarn, I don't spool, I don't fool, I just, as a rule, I avoid the knitting. I don't want to know how to do it. I don't need to know how to do it. Maybe I need to know how to sew buttons back onto things, but really, when a shirt has lost a button, I just get rid of the darn thing and buy another shirt. Darning, knitting. But my wife and company are into that. You know, there is a younger kind of modern group of knitters. This is something I used to think of as just, the aunts and the mothers and mainly the grandmas knitting and stuff like that. But you've got a younger, modern generation of people my age and younger doing knitting, crocheting, and things like that. Darning and yarning. That's weird. I mean, I don't know if that's just a Bellingham thing, but maybe that's something that comes in handy. Maybe that's something that's going to come in handy. There is a type of thing nowadays, I don't know what exactly it's called, but it's kind of like a trade share, where groups of people who are good at what they do will teach others how to do what they do for themselves. Or even just trade products, the old barter and trade system. Money's getting sucked right out of us. But the barter and trade system, that's a form of currency that's not going to be messed with by any speculators. At least one hopes not. Other games. That's a hobby for you. What others are you playing? Well, I guess, I don't know. What pops up for me is D&D. I really want to get into that. I made a few characters, but I don't think I've ever really fully played a round of Dungeons and Dragons. I do have books and compendiums pertaining to Battletech and Shadowrun. I have played Battletech. I've played campaigns of that. I love it. It's like chess, except the pieces get to shoot each other. And Shadowrun, basically, if magic came back to the world in the middle of the future, you get to have cyborgs fighting dragons, and it's good times. But where does one find the time for any of those? I mean, have you had any luck setting aside the time to devote to these other games or hobbies in general? Is there time in your real life for you, for your own enjoyment, doing the things that you like to do? Is there anything you can do about that? This one's going to set me off on a rant. And my cigar's gone out. I'm a little ticked about this, actually. Not ticked, but just a little irritated. But Blog Talk Radio has decided that one of the hobbies is paranormal. The paranormal as a hobby. A hobby? I think it's research. I thought it was research. It's fun, but it's research to me. But a hobby? Why is the paranormal a hobby? A bit on the recent group. Okay. Well, basically the group that I'm in currently right now, the Washington Abnormal Research Network, as of this moment in time, we don't really feel it's a hobby. I can't speak for the rest of the group. If there's anything I've learned over the years, and especially recently, I cannot speak for the rest of the group. I will not. I won't. But I don't think we thought of it as a hobby. And yet, at the same time, there are a lot of groups that are just in it for a lark, for the thrill-seeking. What makes a serious paranormal research group? What makes a serious group? To separate the enthusiasts from the experts. Personal journals. God, I don't know. That seems so vague, I really couldn't think of what to say other than never leave them out to be read by anybody. I've reviewed back on my own. I've been unpacking a lot of stuff from storage, and in those I found these little memo notebooks. And those I used for my journals, and I write in them. And it's kind of interesting to look back in the past and see the stuff I was going through and how I felt about things back then, how I thought of things back then. And just kind of try to glean some insights and see, look for patterns and see if certain things are still affecting me or if I've learned anything about life at all. At all. Like that. At all. Podcasting, that's a good hobby for you. Blog Talk Radio. Basically, the podcasting thing is podcasting taking a step aside with the advent of the live videos? Now, a lot of social media networks are doing these live videos. Facebook Live, of course. We know how that one went this morning. Getting cut off all the time. That was fun. I'm really going to have to look at why that is happening and nip that right in the bud. Shut that right down. No exceptions. Um, Twitter. Twitter has Periscope as its live video server. Instagram has its live video, of course, and who knows, maybe others as well. But that's the thing of it, though. And let's just go ahead and wrap up this video outside. Let's make it an even 40 minutes. I just want to thank you guys for hanging out in my studio with me here. YouTube's just going to have to kick Facebook's ass on this one. We tried. We tried to get those darn videos up. And, viewable, but the darn things kept cutting out on me. That was 3 strikes. That was 3 strikes. Facebook Live. Not cool. Not cool at all. In fact, you have no idea how not cool that was. Shots fired. Man down. What do we do? That's life in the country for you. But anyway, I'm thinking I'm just going to go ahead and wrap this up real soon here. But that is the first of the rest of the BarnCaturday 9 lives. BarnCaturday 9 lives. I'm going to try this. Do you mind? Wild Bill, chill. I'm going to try to do this again some other weekend, a BarnCaturday 9 lives video shoot, maybe from down there, closer to the Wi-Fi. That way there is no excuse whatsoever for it to be cutting out. That was irritating. And it just comes across as looking sloppy, but through no fault of my own, somehow Facebook Live is deciding to cut out and just raise hell with my ability to bring live video discussion to people. So this is going to be kind of a slapdash sloppy thing, but hopefully I can stir it up into some type of stew and do you guys some justice, you local authors and artists and hobbyists. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. Well, let's just go ahead and